Waterstride track near Ostend, the one-legged racing driver, Colonel Goldie Gardner, has been record-smashing in his special streamlined 750cc racing midget. The record in this class was held by a German at a speed of 140.7 miles an hour. Gardner races the mark to 159.15 for the flying mile and breaks other records as well. The track looks a bit bumpy to me, but the Colonel had nothing but praise for everything. The track, the car, and everyone concerned.
Everything went very well, no trouble. Motor worked well, supercharger magnificent. Car held the road perfectly steadily. Tires are perfect and everything. In fact, there's nothing wrong with the car at all.
Once again, huge crowds came to Newmarket, this time for the Cambridge Cup, when they were to see turf history made by a winner carrying the record weight of 9 stone 4 pounds. Joint favourites were Langton Abbott and Wayward Bell, and as usual there was a strong challenge from the French stable. It's a big field of 34 runners, and they're off. A flying start and perfect going, with Wildwood, Wayward Bell and Langton Abbott going well to the front, and the French horse Sayani nearly coming to grief in the middle of the tightly packed field. Closely bunched together, the leading group moves on, with Langton Abbott, Wildwood, French Toy, Carmania, and Wayward Bell all prominent, and the grey Toronto rapidly moving up. Now the leaders are dropping out. Carmania, Grand Duke, and Wildwood, but Langton Abbott still there, and so are Toronto, French Toy, and Clouder making a strong challenge. Coming to the rising ground before the home stretch, and it's Sayani carrying top weight but putting on a lightning burst that takes him right into the front rank. And here they come, Sayani, Clouder in a breathtaking finish. Winner by a head, Sayani completes for France the victorious autumn double. The people of Leicester gave a great welcome to their Majesties the King and Queen on their first visit to the city. Speaking at the De Montfort Hall, the King referred to Leicester's generosity during the war years.
And I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the householders of Leicester who welcomed in their midst refugees and evacuees from areas which were subjected to heavy bombing attacks.
According to custom, the city mace was offered to His Majesty, who asked the Lord Mayor about his age.
Is it a very old one?
No custom, so we just
This one is a very old one.
Very old mace.
Yes.
Then began a drive through gaily decorated streets, with cheering crowds almost breaking the barriers to give a greeting to their royal guests. One of the factories visited was busy turning out plastics, including dolls and toys of all kinds. Dresses of plastic were also on display, and the Queen admired some flowers of the same material. Another happy picture from a royal occasion that Leicester will long remember. Britain and America got together for a party at Claridge's, London, a curtain raiser to the Royal Command Film Show in aid of the Cinematograph Trade Benevolent Fund. Representing the fund, Mr. Reginald Bromhead was there with his wife to receive the guests. One of the brightest stars was Ray Mילאן, Academy Award winner who began his film career in Britain 17 years ago. Deborah Carr, with husband, was soon chatting to the young American discovery, 21-year-old Dorothy Malone, now well on the road to stardom. At this party, you've got to keep moving if you can, and Ray Mילאן soon finds himself joining the group. more British glamour in the person of Sally Gray, closely followed by Eric Portman. Into the blaze of arc lights comes lovely Joan Bennett, taking her place in this spectacular gathering of famous names. Soon, many of the party had to leave for the Empire Theatre for a late-night rehearsal of their part in the following day's show. The camera catches Kim Hunter, who appears in the Royal Command film. And here we meet Hollywood's Maria Montez, getting a grand introduction to Britain at this party of parties. And now, less than 24 hours later, a vast flood of humanity surges around the Empire Leicester Square on a red-letter day in British cinema history, the first Royal Command film performance. Big names of the film industry, producers, directors, and stars had literally to fight their way through a sea of wildly enthusiastic spectators. And here's one of the first arrivals, Stuart Granger, none the worse for the ordeal. Bigger crowds every minute made the scene look more and more like the victory celebrations as world-famous personalities began to arrive thick and fast. Even in Hollywood, the American stars had never seen anything like this. Greeting the guests in the theatre foyer was Mr. J. Arthur Rank, whose genius and vision have brought British films to new heights of world prestige. Among the stars whose names are household words was John Mills. Michael Redgrave brought his 9-year-old daughter Vanessa, and Margaret Lockwood was busy looking after her 5-year-old Margaret Julia. Another distinguished guest was Mr. Atlee. Out in Leicester Square, the police were doing a grand job trying to clear a way for the royal car, but the crowd's excitement swept all before it. This was a big occasion, and they were going to make the most of every minute. At last, after a 12-minute delay, Their Majesties, the King and Queen, with the princesses, entered the theatre to the sounds of a tremendous cheer. First came a meeting with film chiefs from both sides of the Atlantic, and Their Majesties had a special greeting for Mr. and Mrs. Rank. Then came a big moment for the young daughters of John Mills, Michael Redgrave, and Margaret Lockwood, as they presented bouquets to the Queen and the two princesses, a scene which charmed the royal family as much as the proud parents themselves. The first part of the command performance was about to begin, with the premiere of the great new British film, A Matter of Life and Death. After the film, the most impressive collection of stars ever seen in one London theatre took part in a cavalcade of movies. More dazzling scenes followed after the show, when the stars were presented to Their Majesties. Pat O'Brien from Hollywood. And now, our own Sally Gray. Vivian Leigh and her husband, Laurence Olivier, and Bessie Love, star of The Silent Days. Dorothy Malone, visiting Britain for the first time. Bud Flanagan, dear to the hearts of millions, and Will Hay, equally at home on stage or screen. And last but not least, the latest headliner, Sid Field. An evening of many thrills which has brought great financial benefit to a most deserving cause, the film industry's own benevolent fund. All thanks to our King and Queen for making possible an unforgettable occasion in the story of the British screen.